Hello, I'm Paddy from Creative Media, and today we're doing a rather special reunion. This is a 16-year reunion from the original Henry Hoover versus Killer Bubbles, which is a video I made with the original Bubble Battler here, Klaus, we're still friends, I think, which is good. And we're still around 16 years later and still up on our feet. And the Henrys are still here as well.
Yeah.
So these are the two Henrys featured in the original film. If you've not watched it, well, everyone's seen it, surely. It's been watched 148,000 times, which for me is my most popular video, and the least likely one I've made that I thought would be popular as well. And I get all kinds of comments on it, people saying that they watched it when they were a kid and it's like a nostalgic thing for them now. Can you remember why we made it in the first place?
Why? Well, it's a good question. I have no idea actually where the idea came from, but I do know I was walking with this yellow Henry around the corner because we were living close to each other at the time. And yeah, I was walking it along the street and people found it a bit strange. And then, yeah, we were recording it in your back garden and just for no particular reason as far as I can tell.
And it was shot on tape, on digital tape, in mini DV in digital 8, which I'd forgotten was a format until you mentioned it now.
Yeah.
It's vanished into the past, really, hasn't it? And 4:3 format as well, wasn't it? None of this 16:9 modern stuff. But now I've got a 360-degree camera, which I think I feel a battle coming on.
Yeah, definitely.
Here in the Peace Garden, of all places. Got to keep it peaceful. Then I shall use some of that. But still using... In fact, I used Final Cut Pro at the time, but I'll be using Premiere Pro, I expect. Still on a fairly old computer, but not as old as video.
Talking of age, I mean, this one...
it's an old Henry.
Yeah, this is a special edition Henry that was only produced for a few years. You can tell by the fact it's yellow. And some Henry expert quite rightly pointed out that it would have been 5 to 8 years old at the time of the initial Henry versus Killer Bubbles. It's actually one of the last yellow Henrys, so this is one I bought in 2002 from a shop in Bristol. The shop closed down the year after, so this Henry has outlived that shop by 20 years now. It's still everything original except for the homes, which had to be replaced once, but everything else is still as it was. And so is actually this T-shirt. It's not the same condition as 16 years ago, but I was just about to chuck it away when I was told, well, there's going to be a reunion, so I thought, let's wear it for this occasion.
Yeah. And my Henry's was probably only a youngster, I think, at the time of the video. Maybe it's a year or two old when we made it, but it's still surviving. It's been a bit knocked around a bit because I've used it to pick up building rubble and things like that. But it works very nicely. I've made a new bag for its insides, so I don't have to keep throwing away disposable bags. I was hoovering up some glass from the lawn the other day. I was telling my friend that I was hoovering the lawn, which made them think I was really obsessed about cleanliness. Well,
I have to say, I mean, we here at the Quaker Meeting House in Bradford-on-Avon, where we are, a previous Henry died actually after having after someone having used it here in this garden to hoover up stones and rubble and all kinds of things. So and I think it suffered from water as well and stuff like that. So, but we've got a new Henry, which was bought second-hand 4 or 5 years ago. And I think we're going to join, the new Henry will join us in battle.
Yeah, and we have our friend Bev who may join us as well if we need help, if we can't handle the bubbles alone.
Yeah. So this time there's lots of reinforcement. Last time I was just on my own with these two Henrys.
It was left hanging, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was somewhat inspired by, I think one of the episodes of The Matrix had just come out, and there's a scene near the end of that where all the robots are tunneling down into the subterranean kind of nightclub where the last humans live, and everyone has robot suits with tubes and things, guns and stuff, which made me think it's a bit like two Henrys. Not a lot like two Henrys, but...
It looks much better with the two Henrys.
Definitely. I mean, Henrys are more practical. They clean up dirt as opposed to blowing up robots. Which...
And I mean, I used this one yesterday to clean my flat. So
brilliant. I have to say, we have two hoovers. One is a Henry and one is a Bosch. We have an upstairs and a downstairs hoover, mainly because somebody gave us one to rehome, and we thought we'd rehome it upstairs. But these are all local Henrys, aren't they? So they're actually made in Somerset, or the company's based in Somerset anyway.
Chart, Somerset, England.
So
and it's got a Taunton postcode.
Wow.
Quite local.
Yeah, keeping it local with the hoovers. You were just reminding me, the original bubbles were blown by me from an actual... We've got a bubble machine this time. Not because we have any lack of breath. I think we're still in fine form.
Well, we need more bubbles so that the two of us can actually work together against the bubbles, rather than Paddy working against me and the Henrys.
Yeah, cooperation is better than antagonistic something or other.
Conflict, I think.
Conflict.
That's the one.
So, is there any more to say before we go and battle some bubbles, cooperatively, or antagonize?
Well, let's go for it. And well done, Henrys, for living that long.
Yeah, and let's bring on level 2.
Yes.